Hi Jenny.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much, Jenny, for your time. Tell us where you are in the world, Jenny.
I live in a town called New Gloucester, Maine. It's about 30 minutes north of Portland, Maine, and about 20 minutes west of Freeport, Maine, where LL Bean is based.
Okay, fantastic. And just, sorry, excuse my ignorance, is that East Coast?
It is East Coast, yeah. Our state borders the Atlantic, New Hampshire, and Canada.
Oh, wow, fantastic. And is that where you've always lived?
Not always. Originally, I was from Colorado.
Okay.
So I grew up here and am now married and settled here. So
wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to get straight into discussion with you. Thank you for joining us on Blogger Knows Best. How did you start your allergy blog and why?
I started my blog. I have two sons. Right now, one is almost 3 and one is 6. My younger son was diagnosed with multiple food allergies. My older son had some food allergies diagnosed, peanuts and tree nuts and dairy.
Wow.
But then when I had my younger son, we noticed when he was about 4 months old that he had some food allergies, and we had him tested. He was severely allergic to eggs, peanuts, tree nuts, dairy. And then a few months later, he was still having reactions. I brought him in to have him tested, and he tested also allergic to wheat and soy, which basically wiped out everything that I was feeding him as an infant, Cheerios and baby cereal. So I was at a loss. The allergist said, well, just avoid these ingredients, and he handed me a sheet of foods to avoid, and off I went to the grocery store to try to find something safe to feed my son.
Okay.
So, and when I got there, I'm looking at this list, and I'm looking at all the food, and I was completely overwhelmed and stood there crying because I had no idea where to even start.
Wow.
And that's when another mom who happened to be there saw me and started talking to me. She had 2 children who had almost the same identical allergies as my son did, and she directed me to some products to try and gave me the names of a couple websites to check out. And it was with her help that I started realizing that there really needs to be something out there, so that, especially for when you're first dealing with the diagnosis, because it's once you're in the routine of it, it gets really easy. But that initial diagnosis makes it's just so overwhelming and really hard. So I wanted to be able to have information available to other parents so that they aren't standing in the grocery store crying like I was.
Wow. So essentially your blog, and just give us the name of your blog, Jenny.
I started my blog. It's multiplefoodallergyhealth.com.
Fantastic. And you started this 3 years ago then?
It's been about 1.5 years now that I started this.
With your second son, that's right.
Correct.
And how would you describe your blogging style? I mean, what sort of things do you focus on and feature?
I try to focus on the blog side of it. I talk more about issues that we face, like right now we're looking at sending my son into 1st grade, and so I'm kind of blogging about that. Different issues that crop up in dealing with food allergies. I also have a list of the food allergens that we deal with and products where I talk about my son getting that as a diagnosis, what ingredients we need to look out for, or food products that we need to look out for. I also have a lot of advice on 504 plans, which is through the American with Disabilities Act. There is a section, it's called the 504, that allows for allowances to be made for children with food allergies in public school.
Okay.
And basically because a food allergy is considered a disability.
Wow.
And so I talk about that a little bit on the blog, and then I also like sharing new products and stuff when stuff hits the market. Cookbooks, skincare, new food products or items to share with people to try to expand what we have available to use that's safe.
That is absolutely fantastic and so commendable, Jenny, because obviously, I'm not sure if you know my journey, but I've been suffering with Candida albicans over the last 8 years now. And when I first began my journey, I couldn't find any blogs really about allergy suffering, and how, you know, I wasn't even told when I was diagnosed by my GP that it was a dietary condition. You know, if I'm completely honest, and I'll share with the listeners, I thought that it was a sexually transmitted disease, Candida. And it was only because my friend's mum, who was a homeopath, and she was into natural remedies, said, no, Claire, it's dietary, and you can heal yourself and you can change your whole immune system with herbs and adopting a vegan diet. Now, I was 19 at school, you know, I was doing my second year of uni, and this was a complete shock to the system. So I completely relate to your tears in the supermarket, and it brings back a lot of memories for me as a 19-year-old kid, thinking, oh my God, what can I eat? You know, there's all these things. I couldn't have wheat, dairy, gluten, and yeast, and they pop up in everything. You know, and therefore
those are allergens that we deal with, in addition to all the others. My young son has a condition called eosinophilic esophagitis, which kind of goes along with food allergies, but his food allergen list is about 30 items that he cannot eat.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, the list goes on. And for your son, I mean, he's ticking off about 6 of the common 8 allergens. The only things you haven't mentioned there are the fish and shellfish. You've literally
those are 2 things that right now we're still okay with for both boys, surprisingly. But
that
everything
else is absolutely wonderful, because at least they can do almost like a pescatarian diet with vegetables and fish.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My boys are both allergic to the allergens they share are eggs, dairy, peanuts, tree nuts, canola, beef, and pork. And then my older son is allergic to yeast as well.
Wow.
And my younger son also, we have a whole slew of additional allergens that we have to deal with. Corn, soy, oats,
the
canola oil, a lot of the different oils and stuff he seems to have an issue with. So it gets tricky.
It does get tricky. And you know, Jenny, I think it's beautiful that you just mentioned about the meat and the actual specific meats that they've identified, because people said, well, Claire, why the vegan diet? And I said, because in the UK, and I'm not sure about the US, but most of the meat on the market here is injected with antibiotics.
It's a huge issue here.
Right. Thank you for that inspiration. Jenny, tell us how we can read more of your blog. What's your full URL address?
It's multiplefoodallergyhelp.com. Will bring you to the website.
Okay.
And we also have a page set up, Multiple Food Allergy Help, on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, you can go there and find us.
Thank you so much for featuring on Blogger Knows Best with me today. Have a wonderful day, Jenny, and stay in touch.
Oh, I certainly will, and thank you so much. I love you and what you're doing, and I'm so grateful for your products. I really think it's a wonderful blessing for all of us.
Thank you so much.